Hello everyone, my name is Dale Tate and my presentation today is on AI created music, which is becoming a very big thing. Just for kicks, I made a little clip for you on suno.com in about 30 seconds before recording this presentation. Here's a little piece of it.
Down in the shadows rising fast, living life like a grand contrast. Strings of steel, not a quiet pluck. How the hell's he made it out of luck? Tails breaking amps tonight, crash the sound into the light.
So again, that is how far AI music has progressed, is the fact that someone who knows nothing about it can make a somewhat realistic sounding song in less than 30 seconds. So thanks for watching this, and let's get into it. AI generated music is growing very quickly. As you may have guessed, this industry uses artificial intelligence to create music. This type of music has the potential to change the entire music industry, maybe for good, maybe not. It does create many questions about what is music and the nature of creativity, legality, ethics, everything that's around letting a machine do your creating for you. There's definite impacts on the marketing industry with this type of music. So marketers have to look for new strategies to address these challenges, these questions of creativity and legality, all things that really didn't exist for a music marketer just a couple of years ago. So in this presentation, we're going to go over some of these key issues and how we might come up with some strategies to combat those issues. The four major issues surrounding AI created music is creativity and authenticity. This is the is it real part. The copyright and legal issues, of which there are a lot and it's very confusing. You have ethical concerns, and then the economic impact on the overall existing music industry. So the question of whether AI music is real, whether it's real art, whether it's even real music, this is a good and fun question to ask. A machine doesn't write a sad song because it feels sad. It doesn't feel anything. It doesn't write a happy song because it's happy. These are legitimate questions when it comes to, is this real music? When a machine is making it, it has no human experience. It has no nothing except a brain that doesn't feel. One of the shots at AI music is that it lacks that human element, the emotion, the personal touch, the depth of feeling that you get with at least good music artists that exist. You get none of that. And then the authenticity part of it is AI learns by listening to other artists. So it listens to a Beatles song and a Metallica song and a Taylor Swift song and everything in between. And then it learns from that, and then it creates patterns. But by definition, it can't know anything that doesn't belong to someone else. So in a certain sense, every single bit of AI created music is plagiarized, because that's all it knows. So it makes it a very difficult question, because you could argue that even human artists, they only know what they know. They're going to be influenced by the bands that they like. And you've heard for a million years that there is no such thing as a new song or a new film or a new anything, because people are influenced by stuff that came in the past and they're just recreating that in their own way. So is this any worse than that? I don't know. There are currently a lot of copyright and legal issues surrounding AI created music. Several large music publishers, including Universal Music Group, have sued several AI companies for copyright infringement because they are using copyrighted material to program their AI models. And like we discussed in the previous slide, by definition, if only music you know is copyrighted material, then your new material is just going to be a summation of all of those parts. So if you're using that copyrighted material to make new music, that doesn't necessarily seem fair. With that being said, it's kind of vague as far as, is this new, is it not? The copyright laws in the US are pretty vague, not really giving any indication as to who the author or creator of an AI music is. Is it the guy who programmed the computer? He didn't actually create the music, he just wrote the program. The computer itself has no self, so it can't be the author. It's a pretty confusing issue that we are getting into these days. There are also some ethical concerns surrounding this AI music. It is not uncommon these days to hear songs floating around the internet by deceased artists. Just recently, Drake walked all over the grave of a dead hero of mine, Tupac Shakur, and released a song that has an AI-generated version of Tupac rapping on the song. So not only is this possibly going to be ruining the reputation of some of these deceased artists, it can cause financial harm to the benefactors of that music. It just seems kind of wrong to make new music by a dead artist. There's all kinds of wrong in that. This also can be done with current artists, which could cause some confusion with consumers of music as to, is this really a Billy Joel song, or is this an AI generated version of whatever artist you want to fill in that blank? Potential for deep fakes, both video and audio, that could really harm existing artists, current artists, deceased artists. I mean, it could just harm every actual real live musician by having AI being able to so accurately mimic their voice. There are also some economic impacts to consider on the current music industry. Studio musicians are already becoming a lesser thing, and we are looking at the very real possibility in the near future that just professional musicians in a studio won't exist because AI can replace them very easily. That would lead to unemployment in that industry, reduced income at the very least. Not a great time to be a professional musician in the musician industry. And then in the bigger picture, if AI is just churning out music, it kind of devalues the actual human created music that people put their heart and soul into and work so hard to create. And then a machine can do, in my opinion, a lesser version, but nevertheless a version in no time at all. The impact for marketers in the music industry is in a couple of main areas. The major one being consumer trust. If a consumer doesn't believe that this is real music, they're going to have a hard time trusting the company that is putting it out on them. There are some branding challenges trying to find a way to create an identity for something that inherently has no identity. And then there are some market segmentation issues that make it a little bit difficult to make a cohesive strategy to market this product. So as we said, consumer trust is a major issue with marketing AI music. The ongoing debate on whether AI music is real music or not can affect the perception of the consumer of music. And obviously people aren't going to want to pay for something that they think is not real. They're not going to stream something they think is not real. They're just going to ignore it and stick with their traditional artists. There was a recent study by Allied Global Marketing that listeners tend to trust and engage with music that they view as authentic or that resonates with them emotionally. And making people think that AI music can do that is very difficult. One of the branding challenges for AI music is that first you have to create an identity, something that differentiates AI created music from traditional music. You need to try to figure out a way to sell it as its own thing, not as a knockoff of a different thing. That is a little bit difficult. A marketer would have to emphasize the unique characteristics. You would have to try to get people who are very cutting edge and forward thinking and try to sell this as the wave of the future and try to get away from that authenticity issue in order to sell this music. You would also have to figure out some way to try to tell a story. Musicians can tell stories from their lives. They can tell stories from going on tour, their battles with addiction, whatever it is that happens to them. They can create an identity around their music that has something to do with their lives, not just the music. That is basically impossible for AI music, so a marketer has to work really hard to try to come up with some sort of way, to come up with some relatable way to market this product. The segmentation issues are mostly divided along age lines. Younger listeners of music are going to be more accepting of AI-generated music. Older listeners are going to be skeptical. They're not going to think it's real, and they're pretty much going to have no interest. So trying to figure out marketing strategies to appeal to both of these would take some work to figure out how to send a cohesive message across, but also figure out how to sway the older listeners while emphasizing something that younger listeners might already like. So to start making a good marketing plan for AI-generated music, we're going to use the 4 C's. As a refresher, those 4 C's are content, conduit, consumption, and convergence. I'm sure all of you got those questions correct on the first test. The content aspect of the 4 C's for AI music is an interesting one. The music is obviously the music, whether you love it or you hate it. But unlike human music, that storytelling and getting people engaged through stories about the artist, that part is harder. You have to somehow try to create some type of engaging storytelling about AI. So whether that's about the creator of that particular song, whether that's about the creator of the AI model itself, you got to come up with something. You can try to make videos of the behind the scenes creation process of what goes into making this music. While it might not be playing a guitar, it is definitely somebody doing something that you can talk about. You can also attempt to use social media to sort of drum up some interest and get some of this music, hopefully it's good, and get some word of mouth out there just about your product using social media platforms. The conduit for AI created music is a little bit simpler. It's a digital product, therefore using digital things to distribute this music makes perfect sense. Obviously streaming services like Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you listen to. Social media. I know some people are trying to do live events where they basically have a record release party, but for AI music as opposed to a live band. I'm not really sure how that works. I just know that they do it. For consumption, this is again a pretty simple one. It's a digital product. It's going to be pretty easy to immediately just get it out onto your digital streamers. In order to sort of enhance that experience, you can actually use other AI tools to kind of personalize recommendations for listeners on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. These streamers use AI to give you personalized recommendations, and then just trying to get AI into that mix, you can provide somebody with an AI song that really fits their listening profile. You can add interactive features with videos and lots of stuff. You can click and choose what you want to hear, all of that kind of stuff to kind of drum up just what is now considered kind of boring, just streaming platform. You can add a lot of interactive features and stuff like that to these to make it more tailored to your particular market segment. The convergence for AI created music is actually a pretty interesting one. Since AI music can be created relatively quickly compared to traditional music, and it's a lot cheaper once you have the software and the hardware to make it, it's pretty quick, and you can use it in all kinds of things. So you can obviously do a lot of cross-promotional stuff, try to get your AI music in just regular old advertising on television. You can get it into movies, you can get it into TV shows, video games, VR, whatever. This stuff can be created pretty quickly and get blasted out into all manner of other media. So this is actually a pretty easy product to use all technologies for. So to sum this all up, AI-generated music presents a lot of opportunities, but it also presents a lot of challenges. It has the potential to change basically everything about the way that music is created. I personally am not sure that's a great thing, but that potential or threat, depending on how you look at it, is very real and it's here. The questions about authenticity, the questions about whether it's legal, the questions about whether it's ethical, all of those things have to be addressed before you could make any type of responsible, coherent marketing strategy around this music. But if you can answer those questions to the consumer's satisfaction, you can build a successful marketing campaign around an AI created product. So thank you guys very much for listening to my presentation, and have a great day.